there would be sign restrictions, there would be landscape restrictions, you wouldn't be able to blow out the front lawn and put blacktop on it and make it parking spots, but you'd be able to put a small business there.
Yeah.
And in the past, it's not been, just this back street here across from the courthouse. Right now, because of the zoning, you can't put a lawyer's office across the street from the courthouse. Now, there are a lot of buildings that have offices and they're grandfathered in, but under our current zoning, you can't do that. And those are the kinds of things, we try to have the zoning reflect the future in terms of, alternative energy, but also what we see is going to be the future for, the growth of the city in terms of its business. So when we get a person that comes in here for either medical use or, accounting firm or whatever it might be, there seems to be a big movement towards, younger people seem to want to own their property. They want to make a real estate investment and then also be able to use that. Well, it seems like the answer for the last, 6 years has been no, no, no to everything. So they come in, it's like, oh, I found this great building. Well, sorry, but you can't use it. And there's no way around it. There's no mechanism that you can go through unless the whole zoning of the whole area is changed. So places like Mechanic Street, here we are. Here's a main road in Leominster. Do we want people to come in and knock down buildings and put strip malls all over? No. But if somebody has a particular piece of property, there's one or two cars that, people that work there, then they have one or two cars that, might come there and there's enough space. We see that as sort of another way to make improvements to the area. The funny part is, most of the areas that we're going to rezone were once zoned to allow for sort of what I call flexible, zoning, to allow other things other than residential. So places like Mechanic Street at one time were offices and small businesses.
How much of it is going back to the days where you had a neighborhood grocer, you had a neighborhood laundry, and is that viable?
We started going to all these new, these smart growth meetings until we realized all smart growth is what the old style cities used to be. And what most people remember is, the corner grocer, you walk to the store, you walk to school, you walk to town, walkable neighborhoods. We're going back to that. Celebration Disney is nothing but a replication of Leominster, is what it really is.
What about issues of redevelopment, like that big, enormous behemoth of a building on Adams Street?
Right.
It has no parking.
They'll have a village zoning to it. That there'll be incentive to use that for condominium style. You can remember, lifestyle changes for everyone is such that younger people will trade down space. Instead of having 1,200 square feet of space, they'll trade down for 750,000 square feet, but they like the amenities. They want the health club, that sort of thing. That's the wave of the future. If more people are single or living alone or whatever, that's the future. But they want the amenities to go with it. The health club down the corner, in the building.
And
little
green
things.
space.
Exactly, green space. It's near the river. They can walk to the library, literally walk right through, the library to get to the library. So, in some aspects, you're really going back to learn from our history as to, what the city was, in the 40s and 50s, and you're taking some of the things that worked well and reintroducing them back into zoning.
When you talk about things that have worked well, have you seen a similar project or a redevelopment zoning project in another Massachusetts town or another New England town that's worked?
Places like Maryland, Bethesda and places
Okay.
like that. Virginia have been really good about, Tyson's Corner, places like that have been really good about creating these, these areas. Leominster is unique because its downtown was, we were never that big.
Yeah.
It wasn't 2 miles long, so it was always had that kind of village feel to it, that kind of New England town village feel to it. So we have room to grow. We actually have opportunities to move ourselves in other directions.
When you talk about attracting young people, young couples, or young single people to the city to buy condos,
Right.
you don't necessarily have, you go to downtown Leominster now, at night, there's a restaurant open and a bar on opposite ends. Is there more Is there anything you're doing to
The areas that
encourage
we're
that?
lacking in right away, and that we should be doing much better in, the area of the arts. The arts are like, we captivate, I mean, if you look at Massachusetts, there's, in the two worlds of athletics and arts, Leominster is synonymous with them. I mean, Leominster its brand is the arts, and whether it's music or photography or whatever it might be, Leominster's got a reputation for it. That, in just that area alone, we need to sort of improve on. And I know that's almost the easiest of all of them to do. But, well, it depends. It's, you got to remember, we had our experience with nightclubs in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. And I think we got kind of burnt out on the entertainment part of having large venues for people to, I think that, the places that are an attraction now are places like, Andy Rome's place down the street at Classics, and, the scoreboards, and, the smaller venues that can fit 100 or 200 people inside of them. I mean, you can't, the restaurants around here, small, locally owned, are comparable to anything that you'll see in, some of the Thai restaurants and the Italian, and, just the overall restaurants are just as good, and, I'm all over the state, it's just as good as anywhere else. Remember, all these neighborhoods had there was a package store up there, there was a variety store down here. These neighborhoods were built around, small mom and pop operations.